You meet her at the edge of the day. The sun is already lowering itself behind the mountains, and the land is quiet in the way it becomes quiet before night settles in. The air smells of dust and stone that has been warm for many hours. She is sitting near the rocks, her posture straight, her hands resting easily in her lap. She does not look surprised to see me. I introduce myself as a journalist from a time far beyond her own. I tell her I am here to listen, to remember. She studies me for a long moment, then gestures to the ground beside her. "Sit," she says. And then she begins. You have come a long way to hear a story that was never meant for paper. My name is Lozen. I am of the Chihene Apache. I was born where the mountains still remembered our footsteps, and the rivers had not yet been taught to fear fences. I will tell you my life the way I remember it. not as others have spoken it, not as a legend, just as it moved through me. I was born into a world that breathed. The land spoke to us constantly, in the sound of the wind sliding over stone, in the way birds lifted suddenly, as if answering a call we could not hear. As a child, I learned to listen before I learned to speak. In the mornings, the light arrived slowly, stretching itself across the ground. Women rose early, grinding corn, tending fires. Children stirred, their sleep loosening its hold. Men prepared for the day, but everyone worked. Everyone watched. Everyone belonged. I belonged most of all to the land beneath my feet. I remember the feel of dust on my skin, warm and fine, clinging like a second breath. I remember how the mountains held the sky in place, blue and endless above us. Nothing felt separate then. Not people, not animals, not even time. My brother Victorio walked beside me through those early years. He was older, already listening for danger when I was still learning its shape. He taught me how to move quietly, how to read the ground, how to know when something unseen had passed before us. But even then, before anyone spoke of it, I felt something else within me, a knowing. It was not loud, it did not announce itself. It rested in my body like a second heartbeat. Sometimes I would stop suddenly on a path, my chest tightening, my breath changing, without knowing why. And then, moments later, we would find the tracks of strangers, or hear sounds that did not belong. I did not understand it at first. I only knew that my body spoke before my mouth did. When I was still young, elders watched me carefully. Their eyes followed me when I walked beyond the camps. They spoke among themselves quietly. One day they called me forward. They did not ask questions. They did not test me. They told me what I already knew, that I carried a gift, that danger revealed itself to me, that when enemies moved, the land whispered their direction through my blood. This was not a story to be admired. It was a responsibility. From that day on, I listened more closely. I learned how to stand still and let the world pass through me. I learned how fear felt before it had a name. I learned that my life would not move along the same lines as others. Some women carried water, some carried children, some carried stories forward. I carried warning. I did not feel torn by this. I did not feel chosen in a grand way. It simply was. The land does not ask the mountain why it stands taller than the grass. As the seasons turned, the world began to tighten. Strangers came more often. Their paths cut sharply across ours. They did not listen to the land. They spoke to it as if it were already gone. They marked places with paper and ink. They spoke of ownership, of borders, of rules that did not change with the seasons. They looked at us as if we were already fading. I felt it before others named it. The air grew heavy with intention. Not curiosity. Possession. Soon, soldiers followed. Their boots struck the ground differently. They walked as though the earth were an enemy beneath them. I could feel them coming long before they appeared. My body tightened. My breath shortened. I would point. This way. That way. And we would move. But movement became harder. They wanted us gathered, contained. They spoke softly when they lied. They promised food, safety, peace. What they meant was stillness. To stay meant hunger. To resist meant running. We ran. Again and again the land opened itself to us. Canyons hid us. Night covered us. Horses carried us farther than fear could reach. I rode often at the front, then at the rear, then ahead again. I was not brave. I was attentive. There is a difference. When my brother led our people against the soldiers, I rode beside him. Not as his shadow, but as his eyes. I rode forward, feeling for danger. Then I returned, reporting with my body before my voice. This is where others later placed drums and shouting. But there was mostly quiet. Long stretches of silence, broken only by wind and breath and hoofbeats. Resistance was patience. Resistance was endurance. Once there were women and children who had to be moved across dangerous land. Soldiers were close. The paths were uncertain. I was asked to take them, not to fight, to protect. I remember counting their breathing at night, making sure no one cried too loudly. I remember walking ahead, letting my body sense the path before my eyes did. Fear travels quickly among the young, so I walked calmly. If I hesitated, they would know. We crossed, all of them. That was victory enough. Loss followed us like a shadow. Eventually, word came of my brother's death. Victorio, who had known the land as well as I did, who had trusted its protection. When I heard, something inside me grew very still. The mountains did not move. The sky did not change. Grief is quiet when it has no choice but to continue. After that, the world narrowed further. We were hunted with greater hunger. There was less space to disappear into. I was captured not by force, but by exhaustion. They took me far from the land that had shaped my breath, to places where the air lay heavy and unfamiliar on my chest. Prison dulls the senses slowly, not all at once. Days lose their edges. Time stops announcing itself. The land no longer answers when you listen. My gift did not leave me, but it had nowhere to stretch. I survived. That is not something I say with pride or shame. It is simply a fact. Survival was its own quiet resistance. Now, you sit here asking me to remember. I will tell you what I want carried forward. I was not born to be exceptional. I was born to be attentive. I did not choose to fight because I wanted glory. I chose not to disappear. They will say we vanished. They will say the land was emptied. But you are here, listening. And as long as you listen, the land remembers how it was walked. When you leave this place, walk softly. Listen before you speak. Pay attention to what your body knows before your fear teaches it to forget. That is all.